Okay, so at first glance, you might think this is just another tricked-out 1997 Honda Civic. But trust me, this car is so much more than just metal, paint, and parts. It's a story, it's a tribute, and it's a legacy. So let's dive in and see what makes this build truly one of a kind.
And that quote right there from the car's owner, Chad Scott, well, that tells you pretty much everything you need to know about the philosophy behind this build. This was never about blending in. No way. This is about making a statement and standing out from the crowd in every single way possible.
So, what do you see when you first lay eyes on this thing? It is immediately clear that this is no ordinary hatchback. It's aggressive, it's totally unique, and it has this presence that just, demands your attention.
That's right. Underneath all of that, this whole journey started with a humble '97 Civic DX. But as you can tell, almost nothing of that original car is even visible anymore. It has been completely and utterly reborn. And when we say transformation, we are not kidding. The scale of this is just immense. We're talking a full right-hand drive conversion for that authentic JDM feel. It's got a facelift using the iconic '99 Type R front end. It's got a super aggressive M&M Honda widebody kit and a one-off custom paint job. Look, any one of those would be a massive project on its own, but all of them together, it creates something you'll never see anywhere else.
To really get the car, you have to understand the builder. Chad Scott's passion for cars, it started early. We're talking Hot Wheels, the Fast and the Furious, and it all shaped this very distinct approach to every single vehicle he's ever owned.
And this, right here, this just says it all. Where most people see a car as just, transportation, Chad sees a canvas. He's got this philosophy. If you don't look back at your car every single time you walk away from it, you bought the wrong one. It's all about passion over practicality. This whole idea of being different, it goes right to the very heart of the car. See, in the Honda world right now, the K-Series engine swap is king. It's what everybody does. But Chad, he went a completely different route. True to his love for the Honda Prelude, he chose an H-Series engine, deliberately taking the road less traveled.
All right, now let's get into the nuts and bolts of it all. We're going to look at the specific, hand-picked parts that make this Civic what it is, from the engine all the way to the interior.
So, first up, that engine bay. It's not just about the unconventional H-Series swap. It's about how it's presented. The bay is fully shaved and tucked, which means all the unnecessary holes are filled in and the wires are hidden, just to make that engine the undeniable star of the show.
So the heart of this thing is that H22A4 engine, and it's paired with an M2F4 transmission. But look at the supporting cast here. An AEM intake helps it breathe, a full Buddy Club racing exhaust gives it that incredible sound, and you've got all these billet and titanium parts for that extra visual pop. It's a setup built for pure character. Okay, so you've got this super wide body. How do you make it sit right? A car this aggressive needs the absolute perfect stance to pull off the look. And that's all achieved through a pretty sophisticated air suspension system and a classic, iconic set of wheels. The car sits on an Airlift Performance 3P system. That lets it get slammed right to the ground for shows, but you can also raise it up to a practical height for driving. And those wheels? Come on, they're timeless raised gram lights, a perfect choice for a 90s JDM build. And they're wrapped in some really sticky Federal tires.
All right, let's open the door and take a look inside. The interior is just as purposeful as the outside. It's a totally driver-focused cockpit that blends race-inspired function with some really deep personal touches.
You're held in tight by bride bucket seats and Takata harnesses. You're surrounded by a roll cage and a full Type R interior conversion. But you want to know the coolest detail? That Momo steering wheel. It's signed by Noel Guglielmi, the actor who played Hector in the original Fast and Furious. What a perfect nod to the movie that inspired a whole generation of us.
So, we've seen the what and we've seen the how. But the most important part of this story, the real heart of it, is the why. The motivation behind this build is what elevates it from just a cool car to something truly, truly special. And it's a fair question, right? With all the time, all the money, and all the effort that went into this, why pour it all into this particular car? Well, the answer changes everything.
You see, this car isn't just for Chad. It's a rolling tribute built in loving memory of his late wife, who was tragically lost in a motorcycle accident.
And the connection is just so incredibly specific and heartfelt. She had owned a '99 Sci, and her absolute dream car was an EK hatchback, the exact model that Chad chose for this project. In Chad's own words, the moment he found this exact car, he just knew. The entire build, every single part chosen, every late night spent in the garage, it has all been an act of remembrance, a way to bring her dream to life.
But this story doesn't just end in the past. It's about building a legacy for the future, and there are clear plans for both the car and the passion that it represents.
The build isn't quite done yet. There are still plans for a trunk audio setup and some custom hardlines for the air suspension. But the ultimate goal, the real final step in all this, is to one day hand the keys and the entire story down to his son, Clutch.
And we'll end with this final piece of advice from Chad. It's such a powerful reminder that this is about so much more than just cars. It's about community, it's about inspiration, and it's about passing that torch to the next generation. A beautiful message and a perfect end to the story of a Honda Civic that was truly built from the heart.